DOTG, we back. Hashtag boots on the ground, we're back for what's mine.
The kente cloth.
Okay.
You're familiar with that, right?
Right. The kente cloth.
Okay. Now, you know the kente cloth, all those colors and everything means something, right?
I don't know that.
Take a picture of those colors so you'll know.
So these are the different, you get a good, get in there. Cause I'm trying to bring more people, but they like to see. So you got a different, I didn't know that. No, sir.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you a little history on the kente cloth.
Okay.
Because when they wanted something that identifies you. How can I be identified without really saying anything? That's what this cloth represents. And so it was red, black, gold, and green were the primary colors for royalty. And so what they did was, okay, but how could we make us a scarf or something like that? And so what they started out using on that mask there was raffia grass.
Okay.
And they said, well, we'll use that. Well, it kept popping. So you can't really use that.
Right, it's no good.
No good. So when they were trading with the Europeans, they saw them with these scarves. Hey, we can use that.
So they saw the Europeans with this first
No. They saw a European with scarves.
and got the idea.
They got the idea because, they initially got the idea from spider webs. But, of course, you can't do anything with a spider web either.
True.
And then so they tried the raffia grass, and that didn't work either. And so when they were trading with the Europeans, they realized, okay, they have these scarves. We could use that. So what they did, because, of course, they didn't have the colors they wanted.
Right.
So what they did was they traded with the Europeans for some of those scarves. And what they did was take it apart, thread by thread, to dye it to the colors
Wow.
of the king, of the royalty, which was red, black, green, and gold.
Okay.
And
You know what year what that was, or because I'll be trying to get it, but I like that story. That's why I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know what year.
Yeah. I get you.
But anyway, so and so when you see a kente cloth now, most of it is patterns, but initially, the king would have a weaver that did it for him, and so this is what the weaver that they would use.
Oh wow. Let me get the name, because I'm love to dig on history and learn.
Okay.
So that's a weaver.
Yeah, and so only men could do the weaving. Only men.
I think that's what we learned upstairs when y'all Congo. When they
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
That was the Kuba cloth.
Cuba.
Yeah, same principle. So the only men could weave it, but the women would sew it.
Okay.
Yeah, they sewed it together to get the cloth. Now, when you go to, our HBCU graduations,
Everybody got it on.
what does that mean?
I don't know.
So if you decided, I know most of them don't,
Yeah.
and so if you decided, okay, I'm gonna make me a cloth representing my family, and so I'm gonna use these certain colors. And so anybody in my family that when if I'm walking through downtown or the airport or something, and I got on my cloth, my family members will recognize it because they know these is kind of like a crest. These are our colors. This must be my cousin.
Right. Like they do with the Greek fraternities, and they have the same principle where they put their colors on it. Okay, I got what you're saying.
And so the same thing with this cloth. Now, this cloth is becoming more popular now, and this is a kente cloth with the golden stool on it. Now you see
stool.
Yeah, you see a lot of this now at the college graduation. And if you were to ask them, well, what does that mean? I don't know. It just look cool. But basically, what the golden stool represents is the Ashanti people, and they're saying that from the gods we got this golden stool, and this is a replica of it.
Oh,
and
okay.
It was solid gold.
Solid gold. Must be for royalty.
Yes. And so it came from royalty. And so we use this as part of our ceremony when we are anointing a new king. And so what happens is the king, he has, well, let me back up before that. So when the Europeans were colonizing a lot of the countries, stuff like this they would take. Solid gold, or we taking that.
Yeah.
And the king,
No matter who it belonged to,
Right.
mine now.
yeah, the king said, what are we gonna do? The European, and the queen said, no, they not getting this. And so there's a lot of things happening. Kidnapped the son to try to get him to get the thing, and he ended up giving them a replica, and they found out they tricked us. And so the queen said, I tell you what, we're going to war, because you're not getting that.
So they took the real one and gave him a fake one.
No, the queen's son, who they captured, said, if you let me out of prison, I'll get it for you. So he actually had a duplicate made. And he gave it to the Queen of England. And then they found out, this is a fake,
So the Queen of England wanted to go to war after that.
the Queen of Ghana,
Yeah.
the Ashanti people, she actually said, no, we going to war then. And so they never lost that throne.
Wow.
That stool. And so when the king comes out, the king will come out and sit on his stool, and then he has another throne for the stool. And it sits on there. Nobody will touch it. It doesn't touch the ground or anything like that.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that. That's deep. I got some nice, but I'm following you doing this.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Sam.
Looking around. Wow. Artwork though.
Yeah.
So you can tell a lot through artwork. It's this right here. All this be like mostly one pieces, from what I was learning.
Yeah, most of these things are masks that mostly the men wear. And so when you look at, one thing about because they didn't have Ancestry.com. Okay, so how do we have continuity of the family and continuity of the community, of our society? And so that's why you will see the younger women, of course, their breasts a little different from the older women.
Okay.
But the thing is, this is how we show that continuity. You'll always see a lot of the statues with children representing continuity of the family. All of these, what we call scarification.
Okay.
That kind of tells what level you're at, or it could be what level you're at as far as royalty or education or anything like that. And then about having children and things like that. And so you'll see all of these things, and mostly because they've gone through initiation training where they're trained, to how to manage a family. And that's for the men and the women. This is how we do it. And so that's why you see them with all the scarification, all of that means something.
Okay, that's the scarification.
Hairstyle means something. Now, you're not going to see usually a young person with a hairstyle like this. This is the queen. This is the king. And look at they've been around a while because he got this long beard. Her breasts are saggy. But look at all this scarification on there. And with age comes courage and wisdom. And so that's what she's able to share with the younger women.
And that's what the scarification tells them, man. I'm an elder. I've been around.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of things. For instance, I'll use this as an example.
Okay.
If you were in the military.
Right.
Okay, when you first go in, you're a private.
One strike.
One strike. And so now as you begin to elevate, you get more stripes. Same thing, same principle with this. The more you do, the more you're involved in the community or in royalty, you get these different stars.
Gotcha.
Or having children and things like that. And so now you can't decide, I like that hairstyle, I think I'll just do this one. No, you can't do that.
Wow.
Because you might try to lose your head, because this is what the king and queen wear. Now you can wear something different like that.
Wow.
And so one of the other things.
So you're serious about the hairstyle.
Yeah.
That's only for the royalty. Make sure y'all know that.
And so I like to point out about, these are puppets.
Puppets, okay.
Yeah, and these puppets were used to rectify a situation or in a community whereas there may have been some bickering or something like that. And so rather than get out and fight or start shooting,
Okay.
we use the puppets for the conflict resolution. So it's like, okay, here's what was said, here's what was done, blah, 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 blah. And now you all at odds with each other. So now we're gonna show you through the puppets how you resolve this. One of the main things was a king or someone at a higher echelon, he had a bunch of wives. Well, the wives gonna have some issues. Why is that? And so you slapped her, she slapped you, and so now we're at odds and we're ready to go to battle. Okay, so they take the puppets. Okay, here's what happened.
Okay.
You slapped, she slapped, and then now y'all doing this, and so now we're here. And so this is usually a priest that says, okay, now we are here to get this resolved. So here's what needs to happen.
Okay.
You need to say this, and you need to say that, and then you all apologize to each other. Now you come together and hug, and then you come back over, and now the problem is solved.
Conflict resolution.
Conflict resolution.
But like you say, instead of the violence.
No violence.
Right. Well, that's how you run a kingdom. Keep everybody. Wow. Okay. Oh, man.
And so this is Princess Yanenga.
Yanenga.
Yanenga. Princess Yanenga is right there. And Princess Yanenga was a place called the Gamba. And that's in Ghana. Her father was the king. And so Princess Yanenga at age 14 was a mighty warrior. In fact, she trained men in battle. She had a battalion that she went out to battle with them, and she was really good at what she does. And that's why she's on the horse with the spear and the arrow and things like that.
Wow.
And so, as I said, young men go to initiation training, but young women go to initiation training too. And that is to, how do I be a wife? What do I have to do if I have children? How do I do this? How I maintain all these different things that a woman should know about maintaining a household and her family. That's what they're taught. And so she was ready to do that. She said, okay, enough of this going out to battle and all that stuff. Now I want to go to initiation training like the other young girls.
Right.
And I want to learn all this stuff. And her dad said, are you crazy? You're the best warrior we got. And you think I want you to go through this training? So he said, no. And so she said, well, I just don't understand. This is what young women do. But her father wanted her to succeed him on the throne.
Wow.
And the people in that country wanted the same thing. But she said, well, I want you like the other young girls. And so she couldn't get through to her dad. So what she did, she said, she planted this field of okra. Okra. And so she said, so she just let that okra grow. It got, it's ready to harvest. And because her dad said, not only is she a great warrior, she's a great farmer as well. So when can we pick this okra? No. Nobody picked any of this okra I planted. And so what she did was allowed the okra to die and fall to the ground.
Wow.
And she said, this is how I feel inside because you wouldn't let me go through the initiation training for girls. So that's the only way I can emphasize my point is to do that. And so he said, this girl might be trying to run away, so I better put a guard on her. So she couldn't leave the compound, and they had guards on her. Well, it just happened so. The guards who was on her, some of them were the people he trained. And so they helped her escape.
So she was, the ones they put over her, she trained them. So they felt indebted.
Yeah. And
wow.
So what they did was they put her on some men's clothing and slipped her out of the palace.
Wow.
And so there's one guy that was with her. So they're heading up north. And so they get in a skirmish with some of their enemies. And so he's killed. And now she's traveling, she doesn't know where she's going, she's tired. And so the horse takes her across the Volta River, and they run into this elephant hunter.
You said the Volta River?
Volta, V-O-L-T-A.
Volta, okay.
Volta River. And so he takes her to this, the horse takes her to this elephant hunter's house. His name was Rayleigh. And so Rayleigh said, here's somebody that's dogged out and tired. I don't know what else wrong with them. Let me seek out help, nurse them, back to health. And then he realized, that's not a man, that's a woman. And she's fine too. And so
she looking kind of beautiful with the statue. She looking.
And so as a result of that, they ended up getting married.
Right.
They have a son. And so since the horse or the stallion is the one that took her to her husband and her new family, she decided to name the son not Stallion, but in their language, Stallion means Wagadugu. And so her son,
Wagadugu?
Wagadugu.
Wagadugu.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so she names her son Wagadugu. And so they eventually go back to her parents because they didn't know she was still living. And so his grandfather trained him just like he trained his daughter, his mother. And so they said, well, we're gonna go back to where I was born, and that's up there where the Masi people are. And so
the Masi, I heard of them. The
Masi people. And so as a result of that, they created the city. They created this country called Burkina Faso.
Burkina Faso.
Yeah. And so Burkina Faso is this place here completely made out of recyclable materials.
Burkina Faso.
Yeah.
Wow. All recyclable.
Yeah. And so the capital of Burkina Faso is Ouagadougou.
Ouagadougou, the horse name.
Yeah.
That's what, okay.
And
okay.
So in Burkina Faso, here are some statues of her. And they celebrate, 700 years, they still celebrate her.
Wow. 700 years.
700 years. And they still celebrate her.
That was powerful. Let me get the queen. She wanted to become a woman. She wanted to be a woman now. She wanted to be a mother. Ain't that wrong?
Yeah, but that is, shoot, you got to be.
Yeah, like I done did everything. I'm retired now, Daddy. I'm retiring.
And so as you know, a lot of things in the museum, especially African art, they represent something. And
Right.
So, like this butterfly mask.
You said it's a butterfly?
Yeah, butterfly mask.
Oh.
And so what this represents is agriculture, where they will put this mask on and do a dance. We want to make sure we have a good crop this year and so on and so forth. So that's what they do. We got plenty of rain and everything else. These pieces are actually planted in the ground to make sure that they have a great crop.
It's like I had to do the American Indian. We talk about like the rain dances and every indigenous people had their own type of, yeah, I understand.
What they would do, if the crop not doing well, they pull it up and then they start whipping. And then
If the crop not doing good, they do what?
They'll pull them up and start whipping them.
They'll whoop the crops.
Whoop these.
They'll whoop
the statue and put them back in the ground.
So the statue ain't doing their job, so they can whoop. Oh wow! I never knew that.
So this is what we call our bronze gallery, because in Nigeria, when a king would pass on, they would make a statue of that king with out of bronze, and then they would have it in the palace. So when other people came in, so they could remember. And then, so, like I said, didn't have Ancestry.com where we could make the. And so the Nigerians were one of the ones that kind of perfected bronze in Africa, and so they were doing a lot.
Okay.
Because Nigeria is pretty large, because you figure they have about 290 million people, and Nigeria. So when you look at the United States, we got about 300 million. Kind of give you a size.
Right.
And so this king represents the oldest, and this is in Ile Ife, and this is you had the Yoruba and the Igbo people, and so this guy, so that you know that this is the oldest. Let's see. So you know that this is the oldest. Society. I have it in here somewhere.
So that's Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
Edu.
Yeah, you got the Igbo and the Igbo and the Yoruba people.
Okay.
And so so they do these.
Crown. And all this is the same.
Yeah, this is currency.
Okay.
So when the Europeans first started coming over, well, they had bracelets. We're going to exchange. We'll take the bracelet. We exchange it for this, and so on and so forth. And so after that made some few trips, now they got rich. I ain't carrying all them little bracelets around. I would just melt them down and make large ones. So where I'd have to bring a chest full of bracelets. Let's say it's $100.
Okay.
I got a whole chest full of these things, and I got to bring all this stuff here. Well, I got to bring this one, and that's $1,000. So now I don't have to have all that stuff. I got this, and this. So that's what they use this for.
Okay. Carry one thing instead of kind of like what they was doing with gold when they went to the paper fiat, something lighter.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Oh wow. King and Queen. That's the Ivory Coast.
Yeah, because you can look at the hairstyle, and so like I said, you're gonna always see them with children, because that constitutes continuity of the family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Gotta have that. Need that family reunion.
Yeah.
Things so broke up right now.
Ooh,
Can't go to family reunion. I try to get my family like, we got to get back for the kids so they'll know who they are. Like you said, if Ancestry ever leave, they'll at least be together. They'll know who they are. I know on Fridays, me and my family on my father's side, we get together much as we can every Friday at my ancestor grandmother's house that passed. And so we try to, we have the kids around. And
yeah, because if you don't do it with the kids now, how they gonna know?
They ain't gonna know, especially with the technology they got.
Oh yeah.
Zooming by so fast, so this is very important. Family is very important right now.
Yeah, and that's why the Africans.
Okay.
And we were talking about we didn't talk about, but you got the first time in the introductory gallery where you saw those Poro birds, and they represented anything behind you is young men being trained. So as they enter into puberty, it's like okay, so now you might go down into the forest for 7 years. So you're not gonna come out, I'm 21, I got my card. No. You got to learn everything. First thing you got to learn is the history of your society and the history of your country. You got to know that stuff because they didn't have a lot of written documents and all that stuff. So they had, to, they just like
oral tradition.
Yeah. So if you ever watch Roots,
Okay.
you remember when Alex Taylor said, "Yeah, well, see, I'll pick up from where my family is and go back there." No, we can't do that.
Right. You
We
gotta
got to
know.
go back to the beginning.
Right, you gotta know. I
And
see
then-
how they got them small and higher. Yeah.
And we work it out. And so when they go in there, when they come out, they know how to build a house, how to plant a garden, what to expect when you take a wife, how do you raise children, and all of those things. That's what makes you a man. That makes you well-rounded. You can do everything. So you got kids now, especially the boy. How you change the tire?
Yes. That's a problem.
Yeah,
And then we got the women changing the tire. Or I see the women, sometimes guys will sit down in the passenger seat, the women go pay for the gas and pump the gas.
No. And
We gotta do way better than that.
And that's why when these young men came out of their initiation training after 7 years, they knew how to treat a woman and all those kinds of things.
Wow.
And so this is just some more bronze figures.
Just digging on some real talk. The stuff is ancient. Anywhere on the planet, you always had that type of initiation. You just had to know.
Right.
That oral tradition, you had to, and we see the difference. It's good work, though.
Yeah.
Just wanted to get some, and this is coming out of Nigeria. Wow. So that's a serpent. Wow. Be careful. Ceremonial sword. This is Ghana, right? Ashanti?
That's the same folks who did the kente cloth.
Okay.
Ashanti society.
Okay, the Ashanti did the kente cloth and that sword.
Right.
Wow.
And see, one of the reasons they're wanting to get these things back into
They got a little Asian. I know the Japanese and China were doing business with the Africans.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes you cross societies too. So that's like you said, trade.
And see, the reason these things are in 2D, it was like, okay, this, and when the Europeans stole all this stuff, they don't have it in a museum on a wall. It wasn't designed to be on a wall. It was designed to be on a pole in the palace, so the light would shine down and you would get to see all these faces. And so now when you're seeing, it's got it stuck on the wall, that's not what it was designed for.
Wow. So they went on to change everything up.
Yeah. And so same thing with this one. See, these were not supposed, these were like on poles. When you look down there and the light was shining on it, you're looking down and you're seeing these faces.
I mean, I gotta admit, it's some good work, talented. You know, I can't you can't deny the work, the craftsmanship.
Yeah.
I mean, the detail is in there.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised, because I was over in Senegal.
Oh, you actually been to Africa?
And to be able to see people sit down with just basic tools, man, and make stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like oh yeah, I know, big machine shop and all that stuff. They sit right there in the dirt in their little hut and they'll make stuff. Yeah, they're sitting there seeing that.
Like you say, coming from that oral tradition, they was trained.
Yeah. Now this is what they call an oba of the king, and so when they colonized the country in Nigeria, okay, we don't want to kill him because that makes him a martyr.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take him into exile. And so here are some of the slaves that's guiding the ship. Here are the Portuguese soldiers. And here's the king, and now here's 3 of his wives. And as you can see, the wives ain't too crazy about
So this the king.
Yeah. So
Tell the story. He the king. These the Portuguese with this hat.
Right.
These are the slaves
Right.
pushing the boat, and these are the wives.
Yeah. And the wives, you can see they're not too happy with all of this.
Wow, they got the hand on the head. Yeah, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. They got some attitude.
Oh, they go to flag?
Yeah.
Spanish, you already know. Spanish, Portugal, right next to each other.
And
Wow.
so this is another form of currency. Once
Okay.
again, took the small pieces, and it's like, I don't have to take care of all that. Let's take one big piece.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just take and just chip it off as we need to.
Yeah, or either for the whole thing. They had smaller one, but yeah. But okay, I want to buy a castle. Okay. Well, a castle gonna cost you about that much. Okay.
Be done with it.
So I don't have to go get all these little pieces, and yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
So in here we're still in Nigeria.
Nigeria. Okay.
And it's the Yoruba and Igbo people. And so this costume over here is what men would wear when they're celebrating women's festival and things like that. But it's to show the beauty of women. Men would wear this costume. And they would dance in it. And that represents the beauty of the woman.
So this is representing the beauty of the women, but the men will be in it. Showing respect, I guess. Okay. Like this is for the women. Wow.
And so one of the other things,
the men will be in it.
A Yoruba post, and so they'll put this clay on there, and so they make sure that we use things that to ward off evil spirits.
Okay.
And so if a woman was coming by and she said, and my child is sick, I need to go somewhere to get some help. Okay, well, because they got this clay on them and she's holding a baby and a baby on the back, it said it would be safe for me to come in here and I don't have to worry about evil spirits. And so, and this purple looking color, it's indigo blue. And indigo was pretty big in the Savannah area, across the bridge in South Carolina. And so
a lot of the indigenous Indians had a lot of indigo.
And so they had, and so indigo and rice was huge.
Right, absolutely.
And then cotton came in.
King Cotton.
And so now it's like I think that most indigo is mostly produced in like India or something like that now. And so like I said, Bluffton, Hilton Head, Savannah, all down Savannah River out there where Port Wentworth and Garden City, all that, those were rice and indigo plantations.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so they do it. So you'll see a lot of that indigo blue just like on this statue here. See,
I wonder how that indigo blue got through trade. I know, but it's coming out of this area where we at now. Man, like you said, this is wild.
Yeah, and so they wanted colors, and wow, we can get color because you get that indigo. And the process they go through to turn it this color.
Homegrown.
Yep. And so, and this designer was commissioned by the king. His name was Illuway. Illuway of Ise. And so these are serving containers. And so basically what would happen in these, the king might have it sat before him when he's got guests coming in. And he would mostly have cola nuts and things like that in there. And so when you came in to visit, the king would know that you were coming, and then he would give, because he wouldn't talk to you, he won't hand you anything, but he would have one of his, someone from his royal
subjects.
Yeah. So if he approves it, then they'll give you a cola nut. That means you're welcome and all that kind of stuff.
A cola nut?
A cola nut. Like Coca-Cola? Cola nut.
Oh, okay. Let me get, that's his name?
Illuway of Ise. And so he did this one as well.
Offering figures.
And so, and then he did doors. He was a little bit more contemporary than some of the other ones. Because, he got a motorcycle on here. And he did a lot of stuff in 3D, whereas most people didn't do that.
He was kind of recent.
Yeah.
He got a motorcycle on there. He got to be recent.
And so, and then here's another mask that men would wear like this. And so, I got to figure out what it is because it would be a feast for women,
right?
And they would be celebrating, and the men would wear this. And so in the top, they might have like beer or something like that.
Okay.
And so now you got to dance around with this thing on. You can't trip and fall. You can't spill none of the stuff out of the top.
Wow.
And so if you do, I guess you're disqualified. Now what the winner gets, I don't know. I'll have to figure that one out.
So look like it's a fish it's like a fish and a gator and
Yep.
a crocodile. Okay. Wow. They party hard. So they got the motorcycle. Okay. Oh, the skeletons. Ancestral figures of. And
And this is called an Ngunga.
who?
Ngunga.
Ngunga.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so basically, what it is, if if a family member died, then they would commission someone in the family to make an Ngunga.
Ngunga.
Yeah, and so he would select all of the cloth and all that goes on there, and they'll start from like with that older cloth, which was representing the what did I say the color was?
That indigo.
And so they would build out. So they have an option, and then right before the funeral, this Ngunga would come out and dance, and all of these things would be flying around. So just to kind of prepare for the ceremony for this person and make sure no evil spirits are around. And so that's what the Ngunga does. And so after the funeral, they can either, and they'll keep it on display somewhere in a fenced-in area for about a year, so people can come in and still pay homage to the Ngunga. Family member might want to come put some flowers around there or something like that.
So this was done for burial. Okay.
Yeah, this would be like a ceremony before the burial.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Ceremony before the burial. Okay.
And so
Ngunga.
Yeah, and so now they could either after about a year get rid of it,
Okay.
or they could just keep it, and then if another family member died, then they would commission someone in the family to add more cloth to their Ngunga.
Oh, so this can get real big if
Right.
you keep it.
Right.
For each. Wow. Okay. And they would just dance like in a circle and they'd be flying.
Right. Yeah.
A helicopter. Okay.
Yeah. So you can pull it up on.
Ngunga.
You can pull it up on YouTube.
Okay.
And
Okay.
You can see what that represents. And they call this a diviner's board. Probably what we would call a Ouija board.
Oh wow.
And so they would take like bones or cowrie shell, and they'll kind of shake them up and throw them on there, and then they would read the bones and then
On
tell-
this one or that?
This one here.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Like the Ouija board.
Yeah. And so the same thing, and this is used for the same thing. And so what happens is they don't, if you go to a fortune teller,
Wow.
but they're gonna tell you about the future. Well, it's like, no, we don't need you going to the future until you figure out what happened in the past, so you can get those things resolved. And so what that does, it tells them what they need to do. Here's what happened back there.
Okay.
And this is what you're going to need to do in order to clear things up, and so now you can move forward.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Everybody got their traditions.
Yeah, man.
And we remember the cowrie shells. I remember that. The little
Oh, yeah.
the white shells.
You
Yeah.
got it. And so over here, like I said, we have the Yoruba and the Igbo people.
Uh-huh.
Okay, this is I think this was Igbo, I believe. Yeah, Yoruba. And so what happens is, most of the Yoruba have that gap in their teeth.
Oh.
But that's, to them, is a thing of beauty.
So Europe, most of them got that gap.
Yeah.
But okay.
It's a thing of beauty, but it's a desired trait to have. Like a lot of people now, I got to put me what do you call it?
The braces, yeah.
And all this stuff. No. So with them, if you're in that Yoruba culture, okay, when you get your full your final teeth, and you're young, if you ain't got a gap in there, we'll stick a piece of wood in there, so that as your teeth grow, you'll have that gap.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they would make it like
Yeah, they make it like that.
born like that. Wow.
Yeah, so they must have did that to Michael Strahan there.
I know I was a kid, you get joked on about that. That ain't an American thing. They didn't play about
Yeah,
that.
you get joked on, and now it's like,
Yeah.
oh, you like considered royalty.
Wow. People with different culture,
Yeah.
Because I know in school they would not play.
I know. And so when I started doing this, man, there's a lot of stuff I didn't understand, like the teeth and, you know, all them cuts, man, y'all cut up.
That's scarification.
Yeah, but all that means something.
Yeah.
It means like, and so it's like a badge of honor.
Wow.
It's like, hell, I have arrived, Jack.
Yeah.
And then you laughing because you're ignorant.
We ain't know. Let me see. That's wow. I did not know that. That's why I said, oh, he got them too.
Mm-hmm.
And you said if they didn't have it, they would put a stick in between
Yeah.
to make that gap.
And they were young, you know how
Yeah, before you get your permanence.
Get your permanent teeth.
Yeah.
You got no gap. We put a gap in there fight.
Serious coaching.